Good day and welcome once again to Moments with Dr. Steve. I'm Dr. Steve Bonenberger, and it's an absolute honor and joy to meet you, to connect with you, and we want to get to know you. So hit the connect button and send us a note, and let's begin a conversation about what you're involved with, because we're building a global cultural conversation based upon creativity. Now, in this segment, on this day, we talk about Through Gates of Fire, Wingless Flight, Hovering Presence, Lifting Breezes, the three books in the trilogy. Head over to saintelegius.org, saintelegius.org, leave us a note, and for a small contribution, you can get a copy and start to dive into the literature that I've created. On this day, we talk about God and still small voice. The character that we will be talking about, his name is Tommy, and this man finds himself face down on a cold marble floor in the dead of winter. Tommy, this man, finds himself pleading for his life with a God till this very moment he has despised and blamed for all of his shortfalls and all the mishaps of his life. He dare not take responsibility for his own actions and shortcomings, so he blames God. And Tommy finds himself clutching in this scene that begins this story, not to rainbows, but rather to his falling teardrops. For some inkling of hope that his life can be reformed and reinvented and, yes, resurrected. Through Gates of Fire, the story begins with tragedy. A young child is born to a barren couple who are nearing the autumn of their days. The young child is the gifted one and has the nimbus of messianic power baked into his pure soul. The young child is orphaned on the third sunrise of his life and left discarded as chattel, but for God. A couple who lives above the orphan child in a worn down and economically anemic tenement on the forgotten side of Chicago's suburbs receive the knock on their heart's door by heaven's unseen messengers. The man, in this case, his name is Tommy, a wasted and brittle and caustic, hollowed out, drunken swill of a man, is the first one to receive and reply to the tap of God. When it arrives, oh my goodness. Tommy and his journey from wasted shill to purposeful father. The man gets up from his bed, heads over to his local parish. It's the dead of night and the dead of winter, and he enters into this tiny chapel of hope and feels immediately uncomfortable. He has vowed that he hates church and he hates priests and he despises parishes and he discards and dismisses all things that are holy. And he tiptoes up to the altar and finds himself hammered by the Spirit of the living God. His conversion takes shape and form in the press of God. God literally presses this worn out and wrinkled old man and his face into the cold marble tiles and holds him fast. There is where the man meets God until he says, I surrender the power of God. I've seen the power of God work in my life, in the work of countless others. The work and the power of God is never convenient, but it is always comforting. The work and the power of God is seldom, if ever, comforting, but it is always sufficient. Sufficient and then fully soul satisfying. Find your way on this day to some forgotten holy place. Break free from the bustle and the hustle and the noise, and let God then speak to you. The very fact that this peace in the noisy universe found you indicates that he is indeed searching, and his searchlight is focused today on you. And something of value is about to blossom in your life. But you need to listen to the still small voice. We are building a GCC, a global cultural conversation. Head over to stalegius.org, pick up a copy of Wingless Flight and my other literature that I've created, and drop us a note and let's start a conversation. I'm Dr. Steve Bonenberger, and this is with Dr. Steve. Travel far.